A little bit about tuck pointing. I have a mixture of 3 parts sand, sugar sand, out of the Merrimack River, and I'm just putting a little bit here because I want to tuck point something that a brick will be, it's not a brick, but my ledger will have, or might have, some bearing on. So the consistency has to be sticky. It can't be too stiff, and it can't be too stiff, and it can't be too runny. This might be it, the right consistency, and it goes on this tuck pointing hawk. And then this is a little moist, but the board should absorb some of it. So what you want, see how it's stuck? That's what we want. We want it to stick. And it takes a little while to get everything conditioned, and this is a little too moist, so I'll drag it over here on the dry part of the board, get some water out of it. Alright, so you want it on here so that you can reach up and takes a little while to get the rhythm on the first go around. And the reason you use this is a cast iron tuck pointers tool, and the reason you use that is because I can really put some pressure on it and get it into that joint. So there's one way to put it on, and you can also turn your hand and put it on this way. But you want to pull in from the corner because you're packing it in. My ledger board is going to go here. Now later on I can do that, but I just wanted to get a little bit here so that where it's covered up I have and a lot of it ends up on the ground. So you can pull it, you can push it, but you don't pull it into the corner. Now, when you have the really right mixture, see, it doesn't get on the face of the brick. It just makes this little curly part like this, and you let it sit, and then you come along with a fine brush and you brush it off. But this will be good. See, my ledger's going to be here, my top support, and I wanted to get a bit of tuck pointing in there rather than cover up some gaping holes. It's my plan to use a Tapcon, and and that's, I think, short for tap concrete, but it'll work in brick. And I'm not going to aim for the mortar. And they'll give you a bit in the box or tell you what size bit you should use, and I'm using this. The bit is just as big as the shank here, and sometimes I adjust it a little bit smaller for soft brick. And if I mess up and I pull brick out, brick dust, and enlarge in the hole, then I can go back with this size. In order to make sure that I pull the ledger board up, I'm going to drill a hole that is bigger than this, so the anchor does not get stuck in the wood and end up holding it away. I'm using this Bosch Bulldog, and I've always had these, and I love them. I believe this drill should pass this Tapcon and pull it up tight. Of course, it won't pass the head, and I like the idea of a hex drive, so I need to put the drill in forward and drill these holes. Now, one of the good things is I can use this hole as a guide for my hammer gun, and it'll slip right through, and I'll be able to get the position I need. I'm aiming for this and this brick, and I have a line down here that's the position line, and if I hold that in position and my wrist can manage to get this thing up into the hole, for instance, well, I didn't make the hole quite as small, but this thing should spin without pulling it around. Line it up to that hole. Abuse my tool a little bit. Make sure that's lined up there, and try not to over torque that. This should be overlapped and in. I made these quote unquote 2x4s and 2x6s out of SYP, Southern Yellow Pine, and I bought these as walkboards that we walk across when putting a slate roof. So you want to pick the most dense boards you can find because you're standing on them. And I noticed that when I cut these up that have this really close grain, this takes two hands. These are super light. This is a substantial. I just wanted to point that out. It makes a difference, the grain, in how sturdy a piece of wood can be. So I wanted to use these in particular for this. And this piece is going to go here. I should learn not to turn my head very fast. I see. So that will go there, and I'll use the same technique to put that in as I did here. On this one, I have the hole. I didn't start to drill yet. I'm setting the depth adjustment. I want it to go a little bit deeper than this. Yeah, just, all right, that seems like it's working. But even if these just simply sit there and don't pull it up, it's gonna act like a cantilever, and we have the shear force that wants to break that bond in shear. And we have this pinned, and we have it pinned out there, and the weight sitting here, this will hold it. And it's good even if these things aren't even in there. If I were to cut through here, this part would be so thin, when I nailed it, it wouldn't do any good at all. This is how it's done for clay tile. You need meat to go through. I could also have leaned it up against this piece if I wanted to, but these tile ridge pieces are so huge, it wouldn't matter if I leaned that up against there or nailed it like I did. Here's a look from up underneath after the structural framing is done.